In an effort to address the need for a low-barrier shelter in the Wenatchee Valley, Laurel Turner of the Women's Resource Center says the emergency shelters program going into effect this winter is the first step in addressing that need.
And we've been really trying to get a full-time low-barrier shelter in Wenatchee for a long time. I've been here 5 years and we've been talking about it the whole time. So I thought, well, there's a solution at least for the severe weather times. If we don't have something 24/7, at least we can have something for those times. I was particularly motivated by the fact that unfortunately we lost 3 people on the streets in last winter.
When the Women's Resource Center started looking into how to get a program started locally for this winter season, Laurel realized several other organizations in the valley were on the same page. The effort expanded to include Joel Courtney from the Cascade Unitarian Church, Deb Miller from Action Health Partners, and eventually Gary Steele with the People's Foundation.
Gary's group is actually way ahead of us because Gary has experience with this. He ran a severe weather shelter in Lacey and in Olympia for several years.
It's a very simple model, and we only open our doors during the cold winter months. And we moved over here in 2015, and been trying to get something going, for the last couple of years, and finally connected with Holy Apostles Church with the deacon over there, Deacon Tom Richmeyer and his wife Jean, and with the pastor, Father Alhamiro, and asked him if we would consider doing it during the winter season, and thank God he said, he gave us a green light, and so things kind of took off from there.
And so we wrote 2 separate applications for funding. I wrote one with Joel to try to get up to 3 shelters under that grant. And then Gary and that foundation wrote for another grant to get their one set up for this year. And that would be at Holy Apostles Church in East Wenatchee. And that's when we went before the steering committee and presented our information. And it was fantastic to have Gary there because he could really answer those nuts and bolts questions about how is this really going to work. And they were very encouraged. They were very, I think everybody realizes the importance of this initiative.
After working with the City of Wenatchee Housing Programs Service, the groups were awarded the funding they outlined in their grants, totaling $66,000 for the 2 projects this winter season. The People's Foundation will operate their shelter from the Holy Apostles Church in East Wenatchee, with 5 other local churches expressing interest in participating. Laurel says they expect to serve close to 50 people per night starting December 1st, with the help of volunteers from each church. She gives us a rundown of what the program will look like.
It would be using, a church basement. They would be provided with a mat, a sleeping bag, or some blankets, a pillow. They would get some refreshments when they first got there, maybe just some shelf-stable food like a protein bar or granola or something, and something to drink. And then they would be asked to stay on the property and stay inside until we wake them up in the morning, and then there would be transportation. And this was, again, some of the stuff that came out of the People's Foundation, and we could transport them back to, say, the Powerhouse in East Wenatchee where they could get a meal. There would not be an expectation of or a requirement of sobriety, but if someone came in and they weren't behaving poorly and they could please just go sleep it off, they would be allowed to come in and sleep it off, and then in the morning we would transport them.
The emergency shelters will run through the end of February, and Laurel says she hopes the pilot program could expand in the future. Caitlin Hedersheet, NCW Life News.